Hello, and welcome back to the Flask Full of Failure podcast, episode 5. Last week, we told Taylor to fuck off because we talked about a game he doesn't care about. So
He told me to fuck off. I told you guys to fuck off.
That's probably more accurate, honestly. But yeah. So this week, we're going to be talking about mobile gaming because it's a market that I feel like has kind of taken over a little bit more than anybody thought it would couple years back. So I'm your host Logan, and today I'm joined by
I'm Scott. I'm sorry, I vomited a little in my mouth right before that was happening.
Great. And
Taylor, I feel like vomiting in my mouth, but I'm going to refrain from doing so.
It's honestly just because I'm here, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's fair.
I don't want to vomit in front of you, babe.
Thanks. That's very considerate of you. So yeah, today we're going to be talking about mobile gaming and just kind of, I guess, honestly, just the popularity of mobile gaming. I guess the biggest reason why mobile gaming has become such a thing is because we're basically carrying around tiny computers in our pocket. You know, to sound like old people, or it's just one of those situations where I feel like, you know, going through middle school with my little flip phone, I never would have thought that like the iPhone was ever going to be a thing. So
that, and just you don't even have to look that far back. If you just look back maybe like heck even 3 or 4 years ago, if your phone had like 16 gigs of storage, that was all you ever needed. You were like, man, data sure is cheap these days. And then now it's like 128. I don't know if that's gonna do it. Which is me.
It's still like, I mean, I would say in comparison, it's still cheap though. Like
it is. It's because of that. I think it's Moore's law, which is that the number of capacitors on a chip like triples every X amount of years or something like that. Basically, just things only get smaller and cheaper is essentially the idea.
Okay.
But yeah, phones are good, especially there's a what's it called? I'm having a stroke. Razer made a phone, and they made it specifically for mobile gaming.
You were talking about Razer, the company. I was thinking of the Motorola Razer. I was thinking of the Motorola Razer.
Oh no. Yeah, Razer like the mouse company.
For all you youngins that don't know what a Razer was, it was an old flip phone, like an old Motorola made a flip phone that was like, it's like that. I remember back in middle school, it was like the must-have phone for a while.
Oh, you were the coolest kid on the block if you had a Motorola Razer.
Then I learned about LG's magical fucking keyboard phones, the Envies,
oh.
And those changed the game.
Well, and then my favorite phone ever, the Samsung Alias 2, which also had a magical keyboard.
Was that the one that was like the flip phone that could go 2 ways?
And all the buttons, like each button was essentially a screen, and
Jackson had one of those.
Yeah, you have the first generation, the one where it was just printed 2 ways. Weak.
I feel like you guys
Um,
are really sleeping on the N-Gage.
The what?
The do you not remember the Nokia N-Gage? It was the
do.
fucking
Oh,
phone and gaming thing.
oh,
It
that's
was awful.
right.
If anybody ever watched that old like Flash cartoon, The Decline of Video Games, there's one where they go to like a game show or something. Game show. God damn it. You know what I mean? Like a what are they called? Convention. God damn it, that took too long.
Yeah.
They went to a convention and like he like buys he buys one of those phones, and he gets a phone call. And he goes hello, and he goes, dude, you actually bought an Engage. Hey, this guy actually bought an Engage. And he's like, what, really? What a loser. And I'm just blast from my past there. I think that shows my
Reminds me
age a
of,
little bit.
there was like a college humor video or something. It was Charlie in the Apple factory, and there was a similar thing where like what was the guy's name? Slugworth. Um, Slugworth was Bill Gates, and he's like, and he like kidnapped Charlie, and he was like, "Oh, I need you to find the secret of what makes Apple products so good." He's like, "Why won't anyone buy a Zune? It's the same thing as an iPod."
Oh man.
Um, but yeah, so yeah, this is the freaking Razor phone. Gee, why can I not speak eloquently about the Razor phone?
Well, because it doesn't have an E in it.
I guess the
Razor
the
phone.
Razor. Oh, maybe that's exactly it. So the Razor phone is like a modern, not weird phone that's been designed for mobile gaming. So it's really kind of put a lot of potential out there for the industry to grow, as you mentioned previously.
Yeah.
Due to its absolutely massive heat pipe, amazing speakers, and drum roll please, 120 hertz refresh rate screen,
Oh
which
golly.
which pretty much only exists on the iPad Pro as far as like mobile,
Excuse me,
quote
how many hertz
unquote.
did you say?
120.
Damn.
Yeah,
That's
so
a lot of hertz.
it can properly display up to 120 FPS if a game can run at that on the phone, which is suspect. But it makes scrolling look absolutely buttery.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess where one of the big things is like, I mean, I remember old Razor phones and stuff had Bejeweled programmed on it, and Bejeweled I think will lead perfectly into one of the first things we can talk about. But I think old like Razors and stuff had like, you know, you get like Tetris on it, but it wasn't. None of them were ever like you felt like just sitting down for a second and being like, all right, well, I got a few minutes to kill. Let me pull out my phone and play some Tetris on it real fast. Like that was never really the thought process for a while. But phones did come with them on it. But I think it was until we started to get the smartphones that, you know, you had the touch screens, you could move stuff around. That was when I think mobile gaming started to probably take off.
Oh yeah.
And of course, starting it out, you know, you had your Bejeweled at the time, and now your fucking Candy Crush sagas and Pet Rescue sagas and any other form of random sagas that involve basically putting jewels in the right place and matching 3 in a row and then getting magical prizes or whatever. That's kind of been, I think that was the market for a while. And that was kind of what got into this whole, you know, depending on what kind of person you are, it depends on how you want to talk about gaming as a whole, because a lot of people would be like, I'm a gamer, like they play a lot of mobile games. Then you have other people who are like, I'm a gamer, and that means they spend 20 hours a day playing video games and bleeding from the eyes and never leaving their basement kind of thing. I think I just like directly insulted somebody somehow there. So
Yeah.
yay.
My bedroom is on the ground floor. Thank you very much.
I mean, technically my new apartment is kind of basement-esque, so
So the truth comes out.
You are a stereotype, my friend.
it's like not ground floor, it's like halfway into the ground floor. So Anyways,
Logan reporting to you from his new sewer base.
not there yet, but soon. Next time I'll be in my sewer base. Yeah. So who wants to talk about Candy Crush?
No.
Well, I think that's actually a good thing. Bring that energy to this, Taylor.
I don't want to do it.
So the thing, I guess this is kind of one of the things I was going to mention, is that I think one of the best design methodologies for mobile games are games that are easy to pick up and put down pretty much at any point. So like a game that if you just suddenly closed it at any given time, it wouldn't be too consequential. And also that like if you pick it up, you can get right into whatever it has to offer within like 20 seconds.
You usually have to sit through the bullshit tutorial level, though.
Well, right. But, the idea with mobile games is that generally the most common time you're going to be playing them is when you need to kill like a few minutes while you're doing something, or if you're like on a subway or, waiting on something. Essentially, 80-ish% of the time, you're not going to be spending more than 10 minutes in any given gaming session with your cell phone.
But I think
which is probably a good thing because it'll eat your battery alive.
Yeah, but I think the important thing with that too is the fact that you can also spend hours on those games if you want to in a lot of cases. I think like Plants vs Zombies is another game that was like a.
Oh my god,
man! I wish that game wasn't eaten by EA. But yeah, that was another game. Like, granted, you still have to kind of wait with that one because you'd still have to like re-earn money and all that shit. But like, that was definitely like you could sit down and play those games and kind of just be like, all right, whatever. I know puzzle games also became a thing too. And granted, I guess technically Bejeweled is a puzzle game.
Yeah. I mean, if it's not a puzzle game, then what is it?
I don't know. Shuffle the blocks game.
Shuffle the blocks. Figure out a way to shuffle the blocks in a puzzle. It's a puzzle game.
It's a puzzle game. Yeah, it's a puzzle game. It's one of those situations. I don't want to call it a puzzle game because it makes me feel dirty or something.
No, I think the real reason is you don't want to imply that the people who play that game are intelligent. That's what it really is.
That's probably what it is. Yeah. Now, granted, that game it has a certain way of thinking about those games that I apparently don't have, because the first 20 levels of any sort of game like that, I'm like, oh, I understand this, and I get to like level 21, I'm like, what the fuck is this? And I stop playing it because I get tired of not being able to get the thing. And it's like, here, connect to Facebook and everything and shove your dick into it and we'll help you. And it's like, I don't want that.
We'll help you shove your dick into it.
Please don't.
Come on, do it.
You probably wouldn't be very good at Hunipop then.
We're not going to talk about Hunipop because I may have put more hours in that than I probably should have.
Oh my god.
Don't judge me. Yeah, let's just quickly go look at Steam and shamelessly say how many hours I have in that. That's only 5. I don't feel as bad.
That is, you could have done anything with those 5 hours.
That is 4.5 more hours than should have gone into that game.
That's 5 more. That's 6 more hours than it should have been. You should have played Hunipop for -1 hour.
Oh no! Just erased its thoughts from my mind.
Yeah, you just get a bonus hour for not doing it. It's amazing. I don't know. I don't have anything against Hunipop personally. I've never played it. I just know it's weird.
Yeah, because you like go to try and sex women by playing puzzle games.
I mean, is that not how you do it?
That's how I do it.
That game upset me even more though because here we go on another tangent. But that game upset me even more though because like you were like required to get power-ups in that game. You have to use them, which is the bullshit. That's the reason I don't end up liking a lot of the like Candy Crushes and all of those, because they're like, here's power ups, and I'm like, okay, cool. Like the tutorial always shows you how to use a power up, and it's like, here's a power up. I'm like, okay, cool. It's like, all right, now you have to buy them, and I'm like, well, what do you mean? And they're like, with real world money, and I'm like, why? You just
That's like there's like it's so strange. This is a tangent within a tangent. In Bravely Default, like it's a 3DS game, and before the Switch, microtransactions in Nintendo games were like non-existent, basically, right? But in Bravely Default, there's like this potion that you can use to do stuff, and it's like the only microtransaction in the game, and also like probably the only microtransaction on the 3DS at all, at least at the time. And they went out of their way, like in the game, they were like, by the way, the currency used for this isn't the the blooples that we use in the Butthole Kingdom or whatever. It's real world money. Neither of those things are what that's actually called. I love Bravely Default.
The Butthole Kingdom?
The Butthole.
The blooples in the Butthole Kingdom.
I think the currency was Pix anyway.
The Pix in the Butthole Kingdom. That's not a thing you want.
Such a beautiful culture.
God, they just exchange pictures of buttholes in the Butthole Kingdom. It's beautiful.
Oh.
It's a beautiful place.
Oh, it's Pig. Or Peach.
All right, we're leaving that behind. We're done talking.
Anyway,
I'm talking about Bravely Default for now.
Pix is from Reciteer. So, anyway, mobile games, yeah.
Yeah. What fun. So yeah, I guess like those fucking games. Oh, and then I can't believe that I almost forgot to even like move into a discussion of this. Angry Birds. That fucking took the world by storm.
So it did.
I think it was high school sophomore year for me when that like became a craze, and I remember somebody showed it to me and I'm like, this looks fucking stupid, and then I downloaded it on my phone and played it for hours. And I was like, God help me.
Yeah. Well, and then there was also there was also like, what is it? Okay, what is it with bird-based mobile games and becoming a thing? Because remember, least we not forget Flappy Bird.
Flappy Bird. Flappy Bird upset me.
That's where you draw the line.
Yep, that's where I draw the line. I don't know why Flappy Bird upset me so much, but Flappy Bird upset me.
I mean, it was a lot of strange controversy over a game about a bird who flaps.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It wasn't part of it like the fact if it was like stolen like, graphics and stuff?
You just use the Mario pipes.
Yeah,
stolen graphics.
I don't know if the bird was stolen, but I mean, there were only 2 graphics in the whole game.
Background.
3.
There you go.
Background, bird, and pipes.
I think the background and the pipes were both from Mario, though, which means like
okay.
All they did was take
that's 2/3 of the assets.
They took 2/3 of the assets. That was a game that got popular for like no reason, and then Vasile made his own version of it, and yep.
Flappy Firefly, and and then like the creator was just so distraught over the popularity of the game that he deleted it from every app store, but its legend persisted on.
He deleted the app store. It's PT. May it rest in peace.
Yeah.
So Angry Birds. Let's go back to that real fast. Or not real fast. That's actually that's a topic in itself.
Right, we're gonna talk about the movie, right?
We're gonna get there.
I had the Angry Birds movie explained to me over a phone call by a friend.
Oh no!
Didn't sound very engaging from how she described it.
What do you mean explained to you?
She just went through a full plot synopsis. It was weird.
Give us a quick plot synopsis. Okay, before you give us the plot synopsis, let's go over the plot synopsis of the game itself.
Okay.
So, it's a game where you, for whatever fucking reason, launch birds at pigs because they stole your land. Did I get that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Different birds have different powers, and it was actually a lot of fun. Then the marketing team fucking went mad. So yeah, then we got the movie. No, first we got the second Flappy Bird, or not Flappy Bird, fuck, Angry Birds. Then we got like an Angry Birds with Star Wars mix. Then it was everywhere. Then it got its own like Netflix show, and now it has a movie, which I would love to hear the plot synopsis of now. I apologize.
Okay, so there's a bird and he's really angry. His name's Red. He's angry. He doesn't fit in with bird society because he's angry. And then a bunch of pigs show up, and things seem nice at first because the pigs are like cool, and they bring a bunch of neat technology and stuff, and they start to integrate into bird society. But then Red notices that they're like taking over bird society, and he's like, "We got to get these pigs out of here." And so he gets all the other birds to get really angry, and they fight back against the pigs. The end.
Yeah.
Is
And
that the
there's a
story
lot
of-
of that classic, like, these guys, and like, he sees the nefarious things they're doing, goes to the mayor, tries to convince them. They're like, "Are you kidding? These pigs are awesome. Fuck you, Red." And then it's like later, it's like, "Haha, I told you." And then and then they all get angry, and then it's like, oh, that's where the birth of Angry Birds came. Because like at the beginning of the movie, it's like all birds are supposed to be happy, but then the end of the movie, they're like, no, now we're all angry, and that's.
I genuinely think you just described your own life, Taylor.
Shut up. Everyone will understand my frustration eventually.
Go watch Angry Birds and just call it Taylor the movie.
Don't actually go watch Angry Birds.
Don't
give
go
them
watch
money for
Angry
that.
Birds. I'm sorry for telling you to do that.
I had to watch it.
Why?
It was a summer camp. It's what they wanted to watch, and
Camp.
I had to sit there and laugh at it with them. Spoilers: it wasn't really funny. I'm sorry to the one kid that was watching it. If you're listening to this podcast today, Angry Birds movie sucks.
Yes, as Scott sits in the back and laughs without smiling at the movie.
He didn't know my real name because we used code names.
Okay.
Laughs as a single tear falls down his face. Yeah. How many of you actually played Angry Birds?
I mean, I have. I'm not exactly an Angry Birds aficionado, but I have played the game.
I've actually never played it.
Oh, okay. When it first came out, though, Taylor, did you like play it a little bit?
Mhm.
Yeah, I did too.
You slingshot birds at things, and there are different kinds of birds. The red ones go normal. The yellow ones do something. The black
Yellow
ones are
ones were-
bombs, I think.
The yellow one's like shot faster. The blue one's separated. Yeah.
Riveting gameplay.
I mean, it was again. It's that whole logic that Scott was saying earlier. It was like you would sling a bird, and like you could pick it up, play like a level, and then only spent like a minute or two on the level, instead of if you're trying to play something like Doom or Persona, you're like sitting there. You got to dedicate yourself to the game for like more than 5 minutes, especially Persona, because some of those cutscenes just take like 15 minutes of themselves. So
yeah. Also, don't play Persona on your bus ride or anything. People will look at you funny.
Yeah.
don't do it.
There's some weird enemies in Persona, including an actual penis.
Delightful.
Persona. Yes. Yeah. And then like, I think another fad that became a thing was I don't know, I can't think about it. Like actual like games that people were playing on computers and stuff, moving to have some sort of things. Oh, emulators. That's a thing.
Ah, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Mobile emulators. How long ago was that? Like that became a big deal.
Well, the age of the DS was, well, I think the DS and the Game Boy are like the most emulated games. The DS in particular, I watched the like Did You Know video about it today. Apparently the DS is like the most pirated game system ever.
Because I feel like the DS was a pretty like revolutionary system at the time.
Mm-hmm. It's also apparently the second best selling console in the world behind the PS2.
Well then.
but yeah,
I've emulated a bunch of shit before, I feel.
oh yeah. The last thing I emulated was the English patched version of the second Miles Edgeworth game because it never got localized.
That was not what I thought you were going to say. I'm
Yeah.
happy. I'm happy that's what you said. So, yeah, ports are a big thing too. Ports are actually like I feel like that's a big corner of that gaming market, the mobile game market, or like reskins of stuff. At this point, there's so much. Now we're at the point of app stores are like overrun with terrible apps. Like, just it's the Steam conundrum again.
Like, how dare they?
Like, how did this get passed by anybody? And also, why are you charging actual fucking money for this?
Yeah, see, so fun fact is the Android App Store is actually, well, it's Google's trying to make strides to change this, but it's very, very unpoliced.
Yeah.
Pretty much, well, if you pay the developer fee and stuff, you can pretty much just stick whatever on there. They do like check apps to make sure that they're not just like, you know, have like viruses in them, but yeah, I mean, you can pretty much get away with anything. Apple polices theirs a little heavier, and by little I mean decent lot heavier.
Really?
But
Because
no, but what I mean is like for like apps stealing your identity or or having your Bluetooth be firing at 100% power constantly in the background, stuff like that.
Okay.
They don't protect against like shitty games. No.
I was gonna say I've seen some shit come out of that. $10 for some like something that barely even works kind of thing.
Oh yeah, I mean they don't police that.
So I guess one of the things that we could talk about since thing like what mobile games we play.
Oh boy!
This is gonna get into some nightmare stuff right now.
Let's start with one both Taylor and I have played.
Angry Birds?
No, you noodle.
I'm not a noodle.
I haven't played it in a while, but
yeah, you haven't. You played an inferior game now.
So there's a large. Yeah, shut your whore mouth. There's a category of games. Well, it's kind of like two categories really. There are, and this is like one of my favorite archetypes of games, is games that have an AP system essentially. So you have like an energy gauge of some sort. Every game I've ever encountered just calls it AP. But you'll have some sort of energy gauge that replenishes over time, and like completing missions or whatever costs energy, and you'll regenerate like 1 energy per 5 minutes or something like that. And you can use items in game to replenish it faster. But they're games where the idea is like you pick it up, you blitz a few missions, you run out of energy, you put it down. 5 hours later, when you got some more energy, you pick it back up, rinse and repeat.
Or you pay to get more energy.
Or you pay to get more energy.
If you're a fucking crazy person. I'm sorry. I feel like I feel like I'm just insulting people this video. Like, or
Yeah.
whatever.
Very negative podcast this is.
Yeah.
I don't think we've actually enjoyed any of the games we talked about so far.
I enjoyed Angry Birds. It was fun. It just got over whatever. Like, they started being like, all right, well, we're making money off of this. Time to just milk the shit out of it. And it's like, okay. Wow.
Of all the games in that category that I've played, I like to think of it as a lopsided Venn diagram with you two, because there are 3 of those games I've played that are of that type, and like one of them me and Logan have played, one of them me and Taylor have played, and then like another one Logan and actually it's just with me, so there would be a really weird Venn diagram. But the one that Taylor and I played together is Fire Emblem Heroes.
Yeah. Like, I gotta collect the JPEGs of my waifus. Yeah,
including
Fire
your
Emblem.
boyfriend, right?
Yeah, my boyfriend, the Black Knight. Anyways, but yeah, Fire Emblem Heroes also represent. Well, it's basically, to summarize it very quickly, it's basically the big crossover game of all the different Fire Emblem series because they take place in different worlds, like thousands of years apart from each other. And in this one, it just pulls all the characters together. You got your Marth, you got your Roy, you got your Lucina, and all the other ones that no one can name, all the ones that aren't in Smash Brothers. And Ike. Ike, of course. Ike is in everything. Ike is in the game 3 times now.
Is Roy your boy there?
No, Roy's awful.
How dare you?
No, he's actually not very good.
Have you not heard the thing? Roy's our boy.
He's not.
Why is Roy not your boy?
I don't, because
you've disappointed me.
Because Ike's taken up too much of my boy space. Anyways,
that's your boy space.
I'm gonna.
This got weird real fast, and I'm not okay with it.
Yeah. Anyways, but yeah, Fire Emblem Heroes also represents a secondary genre of. Well, actually, I guess it's its primary genre, but it's a gachapon game, which is essentially where playing it, you build up currency that you can use to do random rolls to get new heroes and stuff, and there are different rarities and whatnot. Yes. It's basically gambling that you'll never get your money back on.
It's a very popular archetype of game in Japan
because it just prints money.
It does. It really does. There was an article by the Wall Street Journal the other day. I don't remember if I sent this in Discord or not, but about a man that spent $70,000 on the other game, the quote unquote, as Taylor said, inferior game that I left Fire Emblem Heroes for.
It's gross.
And he's like, normal people just go to the movies and spend money. I prefer to spend mine trying to roll my waifus.
Win waifus. Man. When we get to talking about the other inferior game, I can't wait to talk about my like weirdly good luck.
What I like about Fire Emblem Heroes is it's basically just a watered down version of the normal Fire Emblem game. And
why I kind of liked it but also didn't play it, because like it was cool, but I also don't necessarily like Fire Emblem a hell of a lot. I'm sorry, Taylor.
I mean, it's okay. Sometimes we're wrong.
But it's neat because it translates very well to a mobile platform. Because mechanically, it's just a good design and everything. And for a lot of people, myself sort of included, it serves as like a gateway to get into the real games, which I imagine is part of the marketing scheme. My history with Fire Emblem is basically exactly the same as my history with Zelda, which is I've like attempted playing the games several times, never to even get close to finishing. I think I've started Fire Emblem Awakening probably 5 times now.
Mm.
I've played like the first 2 chapters 5 times, so I could write a book on how to infiltrate that castle in the beginning where the lady's like, "Hey, you're not Chrom. Get out of my castle." And Chrom's like, "Nah, bitch, I'm Chrom." She's like, "Well, prove it by killing all my men."
Only Chrom does that. Every time he comes here. God damn it, Chrom. I love Chrom. Chrom's the best.
But yeah, I like Fire Emblem Heroes. It's and actually it was Nintendo's first like actual mobile game.
Nintendo needs to get out of that market.
Because I would consider the
actually
whatever thing more just an app.
Miitomo.
That's right. I forgot it was called. Yeah, Miitomo.
That was weird. Like held my attention for like 3 seconds.
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be more fun.
So did I.
I thought it was gonna be like Tamagotchi Life.
Another, it's like whatchamacallit, the Animal Crossing mobile game is another thing that I think. Well, I haven't played more than like 10 seconds of it, but I feel like it's another thing that could very well translate to mobile.
It's so
What?
goddamn disappointing though. Like,
Yeah,
okay,
so there would be
let's
the problem.
let's just take it from somebody who loves the shit out of Animal Crossing. Like, I love Animal Crossing because as far as Animal Crossing goes, I get to go walk around a town that I kind of built myself that people move into, and I'm like, sup my new animal friends, and they're like, sup my new human mayor. How are things? And I'm like, they're great. I'm gonna go water some plants and plant them. This doesn't sound fun. Like, it's one of those things. Like, if I were to try to explain, like, if I explained Stardew Valley, which I still also love, it's like, what do? You farm. Why is that fun? I don't know, but I love it. Like,
Why is that fun?
I don't know how to explain why.
Well, it's like it's all the fun parts of farming without the bad parts of farming.
Except for Stardew Valley is like also slightly infuriating at the same time because you actually have to wait a long ass time for crops to grow. So like the first of that season, you will plant a seed and be like, yes, I'm gonna have carrots, and it's like 15 days later you get the carrot, and I'm like, God, I had to wait so long for this, and there's only like 4 days left in this fucking season. Yeah, I love it, but it's also mildly irritating. But I do have cows, so they provide me with many much monies. Yeah. Anyways, talking about Animal Crossing, why I hate it, is that like part of it is that you get to know these animals and kind of their personalities. Now, granted, there's only like I think 6 personality types altogether in Animal Crossing, and like each person kind of has their own like. They have one of the 6. So you get to this point of it being like, okay, yeah, you're the lazy one kind of thing, but like I still find it fun. And each one does have a little bit more of their own personality. But you actually get to know them and, you know, have a good time and be like, yo, you guys are cool. And you get to build your own town, which I think is the most important part, by collecting furniture and buying it. And Tom Nook's a fucking criminal.
Tom Fuchs.
Tom Nook is a fucking criminal.
So what about the mobile game is lacking in these aspects?
It takes everything that I just said is great about it and takes it away. You
can get furniture.
You can, but it doesn't it's not as fun because it's like, oh, hey, you like in Animal Crossing, like the actual games, you can just go and buy the furniture. You may not have the like one you want in the store, but you can still go buy it. This one, it's like, okay, well, you're level 10 now. You earned the ability to build this furniture. And it's like, but why? Now it's like one of my favorite furniture sets could be like I like the sleek furniture set in Animal Crossing. And whereas like normally I can like wait until it's in the store or go to the catalog and buy it. Yeah, I'm spending my money on it, but like it's available to me instead of having to play the game up until a certain point and do the same things. I don't know, it just takes the fun out of it to me. Instead of just like kind of living your life freely and doing whatever the hell you want to without having much of a goal or requirement, now you have to do stuff to get a level up to be able to go get more stuff that you want. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think
Just the addition of a hard and fast progression system makes it different.
Yeah, I like Animal Crossing a lot because I get to do what I want to. You know, like, you leave it alone for too long, some weeds grow in your area, and, like, some of your favorite people might move out, kind of thing. So it sucks. But it's like, you know, you get to take it and do what you want to with it. You get to live your life in this city kind of the way you want to. Whereas in this one, it's like, all right, well, get to fucking level 10 so you can build more furniture. And it's like, I don't want to build more fucking furniture. I just want to enjoy myself.
No, build furniture.
Nook just starts staring at you because you will build me more furniture. Yes, master.
Yes, sir.
Steady.
Another game that me and you played, Logan, that you've probably forgotten about by now is I'm not going to say Fate. That's saving the best for last. Is the Kingdom Hearts Unchained Kai Union Cross Croissant whatever.
Yeah, I gave up on that one. I don't remember why.
It's another. I mean, it's the same archetype. It's also a gacha game. It's also has AP and stuff like that. It's also not the first Kingdom Hearts mobile game. As a matter of fact,
Don't talk about the other Kingdom Hearts mobile game.
No, I'm just going to mention it really quick.
We're talking about mobile games, so go ahead.
But it is fascinating. The first Kingdom Hearts mobile game was called Kingdom Hearts Coded, and it was actually for flip phones, not smartphones. And you had to like hold the flip phone sideways to play it because it had the 16:9 ratio and stuff. But anyway, yeah. So the Kingdom Hearts Union Kai game, whatever, is interesting. It has guilds and stuff, and it's also important to the lore, like every other Kingdom Hearts game.
You know, I just realized that we fucking forgot about talking about
What's that?
Hearthstone being mobile.
Oh yeah, that was a game that from the get go I was like, when is this coming to mobile?
Yeah, I'm so happy. I don't play it enough, and I think the main reason is just because like your ass just gets kicked in it if you don't have a good deck, and you have to spend actual money to get a good deck. Although they added the adventure mode recently, and that's a lot of fun. Like, it made me want to play the game again. I actually picked it up a lot more when the adventure mode came out. I just keep forgetting I have it on my phone. That's the main thing that happens.
For a while, it was only on tablets.
Yeah, and then it moved to actual phones. It's great. That was just a thing that I thought about because I was thinking of another game that I was playing for a while, but it's gone now. So
the other thing about these games we've mentioned thus far, Fire Emblem and Kingdom Hearts and Fate, they all use the same like rock paper scissors weapon triangle thing.
Sometimes more advanced than that, though. But most.
Well, yeah, the Fate one is 2 triangles, but it's actually like 3 or 4. But currently, it's 2 triangles. But yeah, so like then sometimes they do it based on colors, or sometimes they do it based on whatever it is. I think Kingdom Hearts and Fire Emblem are actually exactly the same because like aren't the lances are blue and like the swords are always red and stuff, right?
Yeah, the weapon triangle works well in actual Fire Emblem games. It's a little more. It's a little different, but in Fire Emblem Heroes, it's red, blue. Red beats green, green beats blue, blue beats red, and then red is swords, green is axes, and blue is lances. And then there are also spell books and dragon stones that are also in those colors. And then there are also colorless weapons that exist outside the weapons triangle, but are weird compared to the default ones.
We just talked. Next time, we're just going to talk to Taylor about Fire Emblem and only Fire Emblem.
Yes.
But yeah, well, 2 separate podcasts: a Fire Emblem and a Fate podcast.
I'm not going near that Fate podcast. That is some,
you don't.
That is some devil work.
We could,
because it's all lollies.
There's like enough Fate material, just not mobile material, obviously, but just material in general to talk for like an entire day straight.
Write fucking thesis papers on it.
But yeah, I think the Kingdom Hearts is like it's like attack, magic, and speed or something like that, but the colors are the same.
Yeah. It's a pretty. I mean, they're always pretty simple games to just pick up, and if you want to like jam all your fucking money and time into it, then yeah, they. Before we move on to the glory of the other game that we've already spoiled.
The glory.
Do you want to talk about Pokemon Go?
Yeah,
probably
the game that took the world by storm, almost united humanity as one, while simultaneously almost destroying it.
And then immediately everybody just forgot about it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I still play it. I literally opened it up today because they've added quests to it, and I'm like, okay, this is kind of neat. I'd
like to throw out there, like, Pokemon Go, the fact that Sprint, still to this day, Sprint added like a phone plan that you get free data for Pokemon Go specifically on that plan.
Oh wow.
That's interesting.
Just hilarious.
Good work, Sprint. I guess I
Yeah.
don't know. There's
Very
probably some
cool, I
shady
think.
shit behind that, but I don't know.
Well, they probably like jumped on it like, oh man, guys, this is gonna be huge. We're gonna make so much money, and then it like, you know,
Well, them
It
and
was
started
huge
out.
and made a lot of money.
and then it made a lot of money, and then
I feel like we're underselling the fact that how successful Pokemon Go was, and it's still kind of a thing people do. It's just,
Well, see, okay,
Right.
so I think what should be most stated. I love the concept of the game.
oh yes, absolutely.
The concept of it is amazing. They just fucked up in one aspect, and I think the one aspect is what basically ruined it for me and for a lot of people. Is the fact
The
that
company they chose to make it.
that's actually not what I was gonna say.
Oh, really?
I was gonna say the fact that you had to have your phone open and on constantly. I was under the impression whenever like everything that I saw when it was coming out basically said the fact that you were going to be able to like kind of passively have it running in the background and it would be easy to like be able to deal with things. Now, once they released the Pokemon Go Plus, that changed like that whole aspect of it, and you basically just keep the little Pokemon Go Plus tracker on you, and when you pass by a Pokestop, it blinks. When you pass by a Pokemon you can catch, it blinks. You just press the button on it. Because I bought one. I'm stupid.
I did too.
You're
I
also
didn't.
stupid.
No, because I have a Pokewalk or two, and I'm just hoping they'll become valuable one day.
Yeah. And that was the reason I liked this one, because like they made the buddy system. I'm like, oh, the buddy system's really cool. I could just like put a buddy and like automatically get like a bunch of stuff for them because I can walk around and while my phone's on. I was like, nope, you have to have the app open. I'm like, ah, fuck you. But then it actually counts towards it when you have the thing added.
Yeah. It is frustrating since Pokemon Go is not a small game and it will eat your battery to death.
Yes. It's not well optimized. It's not, yeah. And the battery saver mode just makes it so that the screen turns slightly dimmer when it's held upside down. Doesn't help a ton.
I just remember when
Yeah.
it first came out, me and a friend went walking around a shopping center near here. We were like walking around, and somebody just looks up to me and goes, "Hey, there's a Pikachu down there." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And it was just a weird way of like getting along with your fellow person walking by.
Yeah.
Well, no, I went because I mean they still do events and stuff, and there have been like Pokemon raids where you fight against legendary Pokemon, you can capture them. I've got a Lugia now. It's all good. It's great. Good days. Lugia's going back to the sea soon, so you better get on that if you want a Lugia.
I want a Lugia.
We'll go get a Lugia.
Where?
They're not
I
Garrett.
was-
Huh? You got it. They pop up on gyms. On gyms, they'll have like an egg pop up, and if it's a weird blue one, that means there's a legendary Pokemon about to pop up, and then you fight them. Well, the biggest thing with the raids is to do the legendary ones, you need like 20 people, unless you're very high level,
See.
and you're not always guaranteed to catch them. So just add some stress to your day.
Pokemon Go
But-
was just a great concept, though.
Mhm.
I just
was.
wish they had been able to follow through more actively with it.
But yeah, I went out with some friends during the community day last weekend, I think. And the big thing was for a few hours there were like a shit ton of Bulbasaurs you can catch, and if you evolved one to Venusaur by the end of the day, it got Frenzy Plant, and that's
Ooh.
neat. And yeah, and it was a lot of fun because we walked around a park and there were a bunch of other weirdos walking around playing Pokemon Go as well. A lot of children, also a lot of people, a lot of older people too. And we kept running into people that I'm pretty sure were actually like NPCs planted there, because like we were just walking along and one of my friends was like, "Why are there so many Trico here? I thought it was supposed to be a Bulbasaur thing." And then a dude walking past in all like Team Instinct yellow and with a walking stick is like, "Oh, it's a Trico nest," and he just kept walking and didn't say anything else. And it's like, "Sir, are you some sort of Pokemon sage who's just that's the one thing he's capable of saying, and it just happened to be exactly
perfectly timed.
Walking
It's just-
stick.
It's like he's just
completely decked out in yellow. It's like, I wonder which team he is. Is he Team Mystic, Team Valor, or the yellow team? Yeah, it was fun times. I also enjoy it because it encourages me to go out and walk more,
I remember.
which I try to do.
I remember me, you, and Garrett. I think it was maybe some other people. We just like suddenly we decided to leave my house at like
Mhm.
midnight and walked around that same shopping center that I mentioned before. And
Yeah.
Oh, I was there for that.
yeah, it was probably a terrible decision because it was like midnight-ish in basically like a residential area shopping center kind of thing. And
Yeah.
they don't take too kindly to a bunch of like 21-year-olds wandering around. So that was probably not a good decision.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of enjoy Pokemon Go as an excuse because I like to wander around and explore places I probably shouldn't be, and like
Mhm.
as long as it's not explicitly trespassing, I can be like, it's like, who are you? I'm like, I'm not from around here. There's a Ghastly near here. I'm gonna leave now. Excuse me. Oh, I caught it. Oh, there we go. Pokemon, still relevant.
I also like the fact that
Anyways.
they added more.
Yeah, they're up
Yes.
to the Hoenn, the Ruby and Sapphire ones.
I caught a Swablu today. I was a happy boy.
Oh. Swablues are basically the Pidgeys of this version.
Yes. Yes.
You'll have an
Yes!
Altaria. You'll have an Altaria very soon.
I love Altaria. I'm so excited.
I guess they're more like the whatever the secondary shitty bird Pokemon was. Spearow.
No, fuck Spearow. Fucking fuck Spearow.
I mean, in terms of like frequency,
Yeah, still.
it's not the most frequent trash Pokemon, but it's there a lot. Anyways,
Ray joined the chat. He's getting very aggressive.
What?
that's fine.
Oh, the Twitch. Oh, I gotta see this.
Oh God.
He said no, I'm gonna have to cut this out. Damn it.
No, you're not. You're fine.
Yeah. So now we can talk about Fate, cause fuck you, Scott.
Yes, we can. Oh. Yeah. So.
Another ghost
Because
game.
Ray, this is a. Oh, I think it's because he said your name. Anyway, but yes, Fate Grande Order. I am currently on my. Hold on, scroll up. 275th consecutive login. Which that's consecutive login and also not wasting any energy login. So like for 275 days in a row, I've logged in, spent all my energy as it became available. Which sounds more impressive than it actually is because every mission takes like 40 energy and you only have a maximum of like 120. But still, that's that franchise in general is a very large franchise, and so it was only a matter of time before something like this happened. But it's kind of it's very similar to like what Taylor was saying with the Fire Emblem Heroes is compiling all the stuff from across the universe. It does the same thing. It compiles all the various people from across the universe into one game, and just like Fire Emblem Heroes, where there's who was it, Roy or Ike,
Roy.
that was in there like 3
And
times.
Ike. Yeah. Well, I mean, Roy's also in there 3 times, and none of his versions are very good, but all of Ike's versions are good. So take that, Roy.
It does the same thing. There's like several heroes that are in there. I'm pretty sure that OG Saber is in there in at least like 7 or 8 different variations. Maybe even like 10 if you count all the like evil forms. But yeah, that's a game I like because it rekindled my undying love for Fate since I had forgotten about it for about 3 years.
The fucking lollies.
Well, yeah,
Turning every historical thing into a fucking lolly.
I mean, have you seen these historical people for yourself? How do you know that like all we have are portraits of them. They could have paid the artist to draw them as like an old man, when in fact they were like a 12-year-old girl. Didn't you know that Da Vinci, the Mona Lisa is just a self-portrait of Da Vinci?
Da Vinci wasn't a lolly in this.
Correct, but that's why I said it's a self-portrait of Da Vinci.
They have theorized that before. That has been genuinely theorized. So that's actually a thing.
I mean, Fate is very good about like.
So wait, you're telling me that Tesla
stuff like that
isn't a giant fucking lion? Space lion.
No, that's Edison.
Oh right. Shit.
Tesla actually looks like a normal human, aside from the fact that he has like a steampunk arm gauntlet that shoots lightning. Charles Babbage is also hilarious because
Charles Babbage is hilarious.
If you for all you computer scientists out there that know your computer science history, Charles Babbage invented the first, like, what's it called, the differential engine or something. It was looks like
looks like
sorry,
somebody
I got
here's
distracted.
a fucking traitor.
I wish Fate like shouted its name when you started it, but it does not.
Fate, Grand Order.
Yeah, they don't do that. But yeah, he's like a robot who's obsessed with making everything steam powered.
It's hilarious.
Anyway, the franchise aside, the mobile game is quite fun.
Yeah.
And it has like a pretty comprehensive and slightly needlessly complicated plot that makes no sense in the beginning, but then over time starts to be okay. But it's a fun game. It's one of those games kind of like I like to attribute it to Pokemon in that it's like you can, for the most part, you can play it without understanding the complicated mechanics, but the framework for very high level play is in place. So you can pretty much play it as just a casual or do really fancy fun stuff. Kind of like in Pokemon, like, you know, you can just be like, oh, I like Bulbasaur, I'm gonna raise my Bulbasaur. Or, you know, you can be like, okay, well, if I switch out this turn, he'll use Toxic and on a Steel type Pokemon. That'll give me the momentum back, which will allow me to put up my second layer of spikes, you know, and stuff like that. So it's the same way. It's like you can be like, I'm gonna use the strong cards. Or you can be like, all right, so if the critical stars are allocated to this unit on this turn, then I can use the crit boosting skill to. So
I just go, I have Hercules. Smash.
Yeah, Hercules is amazing.
Yeah,
that's the other thing is there's very few. And what I think is nice is, to an extent, you can just like use who you want to and be fine pretty much most of the time. And so for people that it's like, sometimes it's like, oh, I really like this person, but they actually suck in the game. It does a good job of making anyone possible to build a team around. Some you'll have to try a lot harder than others, but if you have like a waifu or a husbando, you can use them viably. There's no one that's objectively trash except for Matahari and Steno.
Fuck those guys.
And Spartacus.
No, you know, Spartacus actually
trash.
has some uses.
Don't talk about don't give him credit. Don't talk about him. Don't act like he's an okay thing. He's not okay. He's horrifying, and he doesn't need to exist in that game.
Yeah, I'm uncomfortably familiar with Spartacus at this point. I'm pretty sure we've said his name at least like 6 times now. So he's got. Oh fuck! He's in my window. Oh god! Oh my god!
And he's just shouting. He's shouting at you, asking if you're an oppressor or not.
No, sir, I'm not.
All I can think of is that fucking that picture of oh come on, let me in. I'm a fairy. You believe in fairies, right? And I'm like, oh god, now I'm just terrified to look at windows.
The fucking Junji Ito comic that it's taken from.
Yes.
Oh, God.
It's obviously not the original translation from it, but
I thought that was the original translation from it.
No, it's not. He's not asking like, well, because the one that shows up in memes is like, the dude's like,
hey kid, open the window. I'm a fairy. You believe in fairies, right? And that's not a thing in the Junji Ito version.
Fine. All my fun away. But yeah. So I was gonna talk about with Fate. With Fate, man. Let's talk about the fact that I have great luck with that game, and I've
Logan
upset
has,
Scott.
as we in the community would say, X rank luck.
Yeah, I basically just I opened the game and my first roll I got fucking Hercules, who's one of the best berserkers in the game. One of them.
Uh, he's like the best value proposition berserker in the game because he's amazing, but he's not as expensive as the high tier ones.
Yeah, I got him, and then who are the other ones I got? I got the altar.
You
the
got
altars.
freaking you got the and here's the fun part about what I was talking about earlier with a character having like 9 variations is that in order to clarify which one you're talking about, you have to put like 7 different words in front of their name. So you got Lancer Alter Artoria.
Yeah.
So but which I wanted because she's riding like this cool death horse.
Demon horse. Yeah, it's
And in her first form she's Darth Vader is like the in-universe joke. She's one of 2 actually one of 3 Star Wars heroes in there that well they're not really from Star Wars but they make the joke. One of them is literally Darth Maul but the anyway yeah Logan's gotten really lucky and he even though he doesn't play the game very often I know because I look at your login times.
Yeah, that's weird. That's weird. That's really weird.
Well, no, because I have to go down the friends list and prune off friends that don't log in that are dead to me.
That's fine.
They know who they are.
But yeah, this game has been a lot of fun. It's like a nice and this is going to apply to any game that you consistently stick with. It's kind of how I feel like Northern Lion feels about Isaac at this point is like it's just a nice consistent part of my day. It's like
Yeah.
I wake up, I wake up, hit the alarm, go pee, lay back down for a second, do a couple daily missions in the thing, spend my energy, get up, have some breakfast, sitting in class. Oh, look at that. I'm not paying attention. I'm going to grind the dailies and stuff. So it's nice to have an anchorage point like that. And also something to look forward to since the North American version is like 2 years behind the Japanese version. So we know everything that's going to happen. And I've been saving my currency for about 4 months now. Which I will blow my proverbial load on Wednesday, attempting to get the evil version of Joan of Arc.
Oh, neat.
Yeah,
My saved up currency is the weed number, so I'm feeling lucky.
here's a good one.
The weed number.
Yeah, the weed number.
I apparently got like one of the best characters in the game the other day by like trying to get fucking Nagito.
Oh,
I
I already forgot who it was.
I wanted to get Nagito, and I got Fox Lady.
Oh, yeah.
Was it cat form or was it Fox Lady?
It's the Fox Lady.
I
I mean, I don't know which one you got. I think you said it was the Fox.
I got the one that was the good one, like the really good one.
Yeah. Yeah, she's a as the top tier support.
Hooray! Yeah, I think this has been us rambling about the bullshit that we
has.
play for a long time. So, anybody want to say anything else? Yeah, you want to talk about some of your waifus or?
Okay, yeah, actually. So
No.
Lucina's
Oh, no.
the best one because she's got a really really complicated backstory and she's basically like a reverse Terminator who's like come back to save the Okay. Anyways, no.
You were doing a bit.
I-
I didn't want to cut off a bit, and I was like,
I-
that was a struggle.
I have every version except for her main version because that one's hard to get for some reason, but I've got the masked version and the Brave Heroes version and the Easter version in which she's in a bunny costume because I don't want to talk about this anymore. Actually,
He said bunny play costume. I was like, shit. They know.
mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I think that's it.
Mobile games. Go download Fate Grand Order. It's free.
Yeah. I
Don't.
mean, Fate Grand Order. Go back and play more Pokemon Go. Open up that game again if you ever played it before. Get you some
It's a
Angry
fun
Birds
time.
in your life.
No one needs those.
This has been Taylor, Scott, and Logan talking about mobile games. Thank you all for listening, and don't forget that we have our stuff on iTunes, and you can rate it if you feel like that's a necessary thing, or just sit there and look at those stars and be like, man, those look great if they were 5, but I'm not gonna do it because fuck you. That's fine. I accept that. But we're also on SoundCloud too. Basically still trying for the schedule of every other Monday. Just, life happens sometimes and it's been difficult. So, yeah, thanks for listening.
Dun dun dun.